What is up, everybody? Tonight I am here to give you 5 reasons why communism and Christianity can never coexist. Before I do, a couple of things. Number one, smash that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't, and help me grow the channel by sharing this video. And number two, I want to start off with some definitions. First of all, to define communism. Communism is defined as it was by Karl Marx in the Communist Manifesto, and anyone who forms their government around those Marxist ideals. And number two, Christianity. To define Christianity, Christianity is the faith that believes that the second person of the Trinity, Jesus Christ, God the Son, became man, was born of a virgin. He lived a perfect, sinless life on earth, forever obeying the Father's law, God's laws. And when he went to the cross 33 years into his life, 3 years into his ministry, he did so to take on the sins of the world, so that those who would trust in him by faith would have their sins completely forgiven. And in his resurrection from the dead 3 days later, they have eternal life. And those who reject that message will spend an eternity in hell because their sins are not forgiven. So, now that we have those points of clarification out of the way, let me get to the 5 reasons why Christianity and communism can never and will never coexist. Reason number 1. Every communist regime has sought to purge the faith of its people. Let me get real specific here. From 1917 to 1921, the Soviet Union destroyed 600 Orthodox churches and murdered 300 Orthodox priests, pastors, clergy. And in 1920, the Eighth Party Congress decreed that the complete destruction of all religious propaganda. And scholar Todd M. Johnson estimates that 20 million Christians were killed by the Soviet regime from 1921 to 1980. In fact, the 20th century under communism, there were more martyrs under communism in the 100 years of communism than there were in all of Christian history combined. From the first martyr, Stephen, in Acts chapter 7, probably somewhere around 40 or 50 AD, to 1917. There were more Christians murdered from 1917 to 2017 than all 2,000 years of Christian history combined before that. China, North Korea, Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, all murdered Christians. And that's just what communists do. Number 2, communism is an atheistic ideology. This, you may have heard Marx say this before. Karl Marx, he said that religion is the opiate of the masses. He also says that religion may show man's longing for a better existence, but religion prevents that dream from becoming reality. Number 3, communism isn't irreligious, it is anti-religious. This again from Karl Marx. He says the abolition of religion as the illusory happiness of the people is the demand for real happiness. In other words, real happiness cannot be found in religion, and therefore it will be crushed. Number 4, Christians are called to look past the world to a future hope. That's what sacrifice is, giving up present joy for future hope. In communism, there is no future hope. There is only this present world, the here and the now. And number 5, Christianity is true freedom. And where there is freedom, there will never be equality. And that's what Marxism and communism is all about, is equality of outcome. Not just equality of opportunity, equality of outcome. Of course, that equality has always been equal suffering. Again, where there is freedom, there will never be equality. And where there is equality, there will never be freedom. How does that become a Christian thing? Well, Jesus Christ himself said, "He whom the Son sets free is free indeed." You see, communists rightly understand that the mind of the Christian will never be in bondage. It will never be under slavery. Not truly. You can bind the body, but you can never bind the mind. And that's what communism wants. I mean, read George Orwell's 1984. In the closing chapter of the book, the communists want the protagonist to admit that 2 + 2 = 5, and he refuses. He refuses to say it, and then to finally be set free, he says, "Fine, 2 + 2 = 5." And they said, "It's not enough for you to say it. You must also believe it." And that's the problem. Christians will never succumb to that kind of pressure, because our mind is freed. He whom the Son sets free is free indeed. So I would encourage you to not just take what I say for granted as gospel truth, but just research the history of communism throughout the world, and you will see destruction of Christianity. And that is why we as Christians can never tolerate any form of Marxism. And when it starts to creep into the church, I'm talking to you, Tabidi Annabwile and Russell Moore, when you start to embrace those Marxist ideologies, there is no greater evidence that you were never a Christian in the first place. So that's all I got to say for tonight. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button, the like button. Please share if this blessed you, and thanks for watching. Peace.